So what you're looking at are my pea plants, and they're pretty much done for. The birds have eaten a lot of the peas. All of this is kind of growing up around it, even being mulched in. They're just not having a good go of things. Usually the peas grow up really tall up this trellis and it kills everything underneath. But this year birds ate a good portion of the peas. As you can see, there are not a lot of pea plants left in here. Some of them have a couple of peas. And then we had very, very heavy rain, and that caused the peas, instead of continuing to grow and the pods get longer, like this pod, you can tell it is setting peas and they are not swelling up. That's because we haven't had rain in a few days and they're actually able to grow the way that they're supposed to. But this one is fairly squatty and the peas are massive and swollen. And most of the pods ended up being like this, really short and swollen. And I don't think it has anything to do with the variety of pea. It has everything to do with it's extremely hot here. It's been rainy, causing the peas to really swell up. I think that this is gonna be a crop that I mostly grow for fall as it cools down, just because our springs go from 40 degrees to 80 degrees and it stresses the plant out a lot. Now this variety of pea can handle 40 to 80 degree weather, but I just think that's more something that it can handle in fall, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because during the spring it's too hot and humid and our days are already pushing into the 90s. So the plant is trying its best to produce seed before it's too late. Now this pod is actually more or less what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to have more peas and get longer, and you can see the peas aren't starting to fatten up yet. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 peas in this pod versus only 3 peas in this one and only 2 swelled up really well. So that's definitely an issue. Seeing these longer pods gives me hope that this would be a really good plant in slightly cooler weather. And another thing that I noticed is that although this plant is still producing flowers, you can see a nice little pea flower producing here, and they're really nice. They're different varieties of purple, and some are extremely light, some are really dark like this, and I love that. You can see where I've harvested peas. But this pea situation is not fun. And another thing is, if you look, a lot of these pea plants are bleached by the sun. They're almost white, whereas some of them that are just now really shooting up, and that's this plant that's actually producing the nice pod, is nice and dark green. So that's what they're supposed to look like. And I think growing them in a time that has some shorter days where the plants aren't going to get bleached out and aren't as stressed by the sun would be best for them. Our sun is harsh, and the way our garden's aligned, it gets sun all day. We're facing north, so our garden's kind of east to west, and the sun's just straight over our garden all day, every day, until it starts to set. And that is a lot of direct heat for our plants, and a lot of direct sun. Even a lot of our heat-loving plants need to be grown in the shade, and I have several pepper varieties that do better under trees than they do out in the open. And so if peppers, tomatoes, things like that, looks like some kind of insect damage here, are struggling, then peas are definitely going to struggle. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up all of these peas. I'm going to save the pods. They're on there because you can, on this variety, you can eat the pods and the peas. I specifically got that so the kids wouldn't get sick eating pods, because some varieties of beans or peas you should not eat the outside of them. So this is really great. Overall, I'm really hopeful for what the fall can bring, but I just don't think that I will be growing spring peas anymore unless I start them in maybe December or January. But I think what would probably be best is going ahead and starting peas maybe in September and letting them grow through the fall.